Thank you, and it's a great honor to be here. Yes, I work at CSRO. I'm a group leader in CSRO Data 61, and I'm a group leader of a group called Knowledge Discovery and Management. And I will explain a little bit what I do, because I think it's quite different from what many people in this room do. So my background is what we call computational linguistics and user modeling. So what does that mean? Well, it means computational linguistics is all about processing language, human language, not computer languages. And in processing, I mean both understanding it and generating it. So computational linguistics merges computer science and linguistics in order to process language automatically. And I deal especially with text, not the speech sound. So my own background is in computer science. I have a Bachelor of Arts from University of Berkeley, California at Berkeley, and in computer science, and a PhD in computer science from Columbia University in New York. But my major was computational linguistics. Now, what is user modeling? User modeling is about understanding the user and making a representation of that user so that a system can then adapt their behavior for that user. In my case, adapt communication to the user so that the communication is effective. The contrary of what's in that cartoon right here, where this policeman gives a very structured view of where to go, and the poor user has no idea what he's talking about. Could be me anytime people give me instructions. My PhD thesis at Columbia was among the first work to produce text appropriate to the user, appropriate for the audience. And it's been the basis of a lot of work afterwards. And that's what's called personalization or tailoring, where many systems nowadays use that. In fact, people kind of expect that now. I was one of the co-founders of the user modeling community. And as I said, you probably don't even realize it, but many systems now tailor the user, get information on the user to tailor their behavior. So I was part of the people starting that. So what do we study then? Well, we study how people communicate so that then a computer or system can have an effective communication themselves. So one of the major aspects of what I do is actually going beyond the one sentence level, what we call the discourse. So when you put a bunch of sentences together, if they are coherent, there is some reason why they are coherent. Otherwise, it's mumble jumble. But what does that mean for a text to be coherent? What does it mean for it to be relevant or appropriate for the user? So what we do, we take linguistic concepts, but then we formalize them and push them forward so we can actually operationalize them within a computer system. Because otherwise, I cannot tell my computer, please be coherent. You won't quite know what that means. So I need to be able to formalize that. So we've developed a number of systems to operationalize this idea. And when I was in the US at the Information Sciences Institute, we developed one of the first systems capable, in fact, of reasoning about its own behavior to then be able to produce coherent text and be able to participate in a dialogue where the user can question what the system says, and the system needs to understand that. And the system was the basis for a number of other systems, including multimedia. Now, we've continued that work. I've continued that work both in the UK and at CSIRO, where we've developed a number of systems to produce what we call tailored documents. So when you know about the coherent tailored documents, you know about the user, and you want to make sure you produce a document they can understand and that is useful for them for whatever purpose they are looking at. We've done that in a number of domains, including at CSRO Public Administration, the Department of Human Services, where we are able to show that for the first time that, in fact, people would like such documents, and they would be willing to give information about themselves in order to get a document which is more appropriate to their needs. Now, this was just text, but of course, as information is becoming everywhere, there's information coming out everywhere, we now we tend to talk a lot about information environment. And the question there becomes, what is the right information to give to people at the right time, and how to present it so that, again, it's understandable, appropriate, actionable if you have decision makers. So we've done a lot of work then to ensure you don't have information overload. There was a time where getting access to information was difficult. Now it's more you have way too much information. How do you help narrow that down to give the right information to users so that they can use it and action on it? Moving yet further, we now talk a lot about big data. So, there's, again, data everywhere. And there's two areas we're looking at in big data. One is social media. So we've done a lot of work with the team on social media. A lot of the public discourse nowadays takes place on social media. You probably know that. Whether you are involved or not on social media, there are millions of Twitter users, Facebook users, Instagram. There are new platforms all the time, and a lot of the public discourse takes place there. We can actually, so many organizations are involved in that, and they want to understand what are people talking about. Or when they do their own communication, who is listening, and do they care? What's happening? So and we can get a lot of insight from social media. So we've developed a number of systems. The one you see here on the right-hand side was developed with the Department of Human Services to help them monitor their communication and improve their services as a result of engaging directly with citizens and taking some load off the call center by now doing a one-to-many communication. The one at the bottom is the We Feel system, was in the mental space, mental health area. We're monitoring emotions in real time to see how various events can affect people. And we are doing some of that work with the Black Dog Institute in Sydney. We also have done some work in emergency services. And this is actually a system which monitors Twitter, again in real time, looking at mention of emergency. And the system is deployed, you see in the middle here. It's actually one of the input to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. So it's actually being used as one source of information now. People don't always call 000 anymore, they tweet. It's what people do. So we have to react to that. And I'm very pleased to say we got an award for that system. And this actually gives me a great opportunity to thank all the wonderful people I've worked at, including the past 20 years at CSIRO, and they've been really fantastic people. Big data is not just in social media, it's also in other types of documents. So, for example, scientific literature. So we've also done some work there to help people get an understanding of what's happening when you have a huge set of documents and you're trying to quickly identify, so what are people talking about? What are the new things going on? Can we do summarization? Can we present the interconnected information? So there's a lot of textual things there that we need to work on. In terms of how I hope to contribute to the society, first, I'm very excited to be part of an organization whose vision is to create a future in which technological sciences, engineering, and innovation really contribute to Australia's social, economic, and environmental well-being. Like a previous fellow said, I think Dr. Craig, I'd like to see science on the national agenda, and I hope to contribute to STEM, which clearly I think is extremely important. I also hope to contribute by engaging with the other academies, and in particular, given my background, the Academy of Social Sciences, the Humanity, and the Academy of Science, and maybe build bridge there. For example, to find out how to help with big data analytics, which is what we do, help with humanities and social science research and uncover more insight at big scale, given the type of data that we have. And this also contributes to the strategy, like strategy 2, to build with other sciences, other academies, sorry. Digital economy is not currently one of the operating groups, but I think it's recognized, of course, as being a very important part of the economic landscape in Australia, and explicitly mentioned in Strategy 1 to engage also with other academies on that topic. So I hope to be able to be involved in that as well. Thank you.